You could be better, kinder, smarter, feel better about your life. We have the technology. Greetings, Seeker Desire, your friendly neighborhood rabbi, putting videos into your eyeballs because I care that you have a life of meaning, joy, human connection, and personal growth. And today we're going to dig into one of my favorite topics, that is the Jewish art of self-improvement, or what I call inner work. Inner work is a collection of Jewish wisdom and practices that are designed to help you improve yourself, improve your behavior, improve how other people see you, improve the quality of your relationships. And if you're a God person, improve how you feel about your connection with God. And possibly the most powerful Jewish technology or tool in the toolbox to help you fix your life is something called teshuva. You might hear it pronounced tshuva or tshuva because there's like a T sound and an SH sound really close together, like chew. Actually, it's a tough and a shin, but we'll do the Hebrew alphabet in a different video. It's often translated as repentance, but the literal translation of the word is return. That is, you're returning to the right path, you're returning to your best self whenever it is that you try to fix mistakes in your life. And these mistakes can be one-time boo-boos, whether you broke a rule or you harmed a relationship by harming another person, whether physically or in words or just disrespecting somebody. These are the kind of mistakes that we carry with us as guilt, and they weigh on our conscience. And the good news is we have the technology for coming back from those mistakes. In the Tanakh, or the Hebrew Bible, it's talked about as making atonement for sins. God gave us a rule, we broke it, time to sacrifice an animal. Not just us, but that was like how pretty much every culture dealt with getting right with God at that time, was killing an animal and cooking it and possibly feeding it to priests. But we haven't really done that for about 2,000 years, and as much as I appreciate good barbecue, I am from Texas after all, I much prefer how we do things now. And in my opinion, the key thinking on this in the Jewish tradition came from Maimonides, a scholar in the Mediterranean region about 1,000 years ago. And in his vast work on Jewish law, the Mishneh Torah, one section was Hilchot Tshuva, that is the law of return, or the law of repentance. And he breaks down all the steps for you. The first way to fix a mistake is realize you made a mistake. That's why we also have a principle of tochacha, or rebuke, that, if you see somebody make a mistake, say something. Otherwise, you might be responsible for them not fixing their own errors. Let's say you did something wrong. That's why you feel guilty. The first thing you have to do is acknowledge that it's wrong and disavow that behavior, saying like, look, I know what I did was wrong. That's not me, or at least that's not how I want to be. So I'm not going to pretend that it was right. That's actually a big step, because a lot of times we make mistakes and we're like, I meant to do that, and I'm totally cool that I did that to you because you bothered me some other time. Going from I know it's wrong to I admit that it's wrong is a huge step, and one that you should be congratulated for. But we can't really say that that's enough. Once you're willing to admit that you did something wrong, the next step is you need to fix it. You need to make amends for it. Even if you broke something that you can't fix, you can still try to make up for it in some way. If you damaged somebody's property, pay for it. If you parked in the wrong place, pay the ticket. Get yourself whole in whatever way that you can, and at the very least, you need to apologize. Go to somebody and say, I made a mistake, I know it was wrong, I don't want to be like that, I'm sorry I did that. Not, I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry you got hurt by something that I was totally within my right to do to you. No, I'm sorry I hurt you by what I did. Take responsibility. And I'm the first to admit that this is scary. This is one of the hardest things in the world to do, is to not only admit that you're wrong, but go to somebody else and say, I'm sorry, I did that. I'm responsible. How do we make it right? Maimonides even brings into this discussion the holiday of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. And around the Day of Atonement, you might hear Jews say things like, if I hurt anybody here in this room, I'm sorry, or come up to somebody they love and say, if I hurt you in any way this year, I'm sorry I did that. Because what Maimonides points out is that the Day of Atonement is primarily for things that went wrong between you and God. And if you fast and pray and pledge charity on that day, God will forgive you. But anything that you did to another human being, God won't forgive you until you try to get their forgiveness. So you made a boo-boo, you know it was a boo-boo, you admit that it's a boo-boo, you try to fix the boo-boo. Are you done? Not quite. Maimonides says that this process of teshuvah, this return to the right path, isn't really complete unless you are in a place where if you were faced with the same opportunity again, would you make the same mistake? And so proper return may require that you have to structure your life in such a way that you don't make that same mistake. Either you learn your lesson or you don't put yourself in situations where you act the way you acted. And once you're faced with the same temptation to hurt yourself or hurt somebody else, and you make a better decision about that, you, my friend, have returned. Welcome back. Seeker, thank you so much for watching this video and learning this with me. I really appreciate the opportunity to teach things that I hope will add more meaning and joy and human connection and personal growth in your life. If you got anything out of this video at all, I would beseech you to mash my face, click on the picture of my face to make sure you're subscribed to this channel so that we can keep learning together. Check out some of my other videos. And if inner work, this Jewish art of self-improvement, is interesting to you, make sure you click on the link to a downloadable resource that I provided. And until next time, Seeker, peace.